Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN. Today, we are going to be taking a look at the 20 new Season 3 KvK groups coming out and from the Gen 2 KvK Kingdom pool. So we'll show you some numbers, some totals, we'll show you overhead maps and the starting positions of all of the kingdoms / top alliance or number one alliance in each of them. And then at the end, I'm going to give you a little bit of a hot take, but I think it's actually going to be a great take on how KvK can play out in the future that's better than what currently exists, or at least giving you something else to think about. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up, because that was a lot. Thanks. Okay. First and foremost, this is the sheet, and everyone knows this is the master one. I do have a public sheet that I'm porting over all the data to at least 24 hours after I do one of these videos. If you do want to get access to that, join the Discord. Link to the Discord's in the pinned comment description down below. Once you join, you'll go to Reaction Roll channel. You will go over here. It's the one that has the most reactions, or the Call of Dragons. You will then scroll down to Call of Dragons. If it doesn't pop out, click the header or the title. You will go to COD Data Stats, and it's going to be here. I have temporary public sheets for the G1 groups that are currently in. Their Zone 2, I think, starts in a day or so. And then we have the G2 KvK Kingdom Pool, which, again, they start, well, I can't remember if it's on the 20th or so, give or take. But if you do want to get access to the public version and you want to see updated stats, this is where you can go to get the link. And then you can pin it, save it, favorite it, whatever you guys do. All right, here we go. So we're just going to look at overall totals. Now, a couple disclaimers. Number one is that the top 300 is now excluding 15 million below accounts. Number two is that any missing line items was because the data just wasn't captured. And again, that along with number three, which is that anyone you see in pink means that the data just may have not been captured, or it could have been a little incorrect. And with that, or I should just say incorrect in general, and we used the 3.9 data for those to fill in. Along with any of the other pieces of feedback people have already mentioned to me, all of that has been passed on to Fuzzy already. He's already been running tests and update fixes, and when everything looks Gucci, he will then send me an updated scan, and then we'll update the numbers here as well. Aside from that, everyone that is not blank or does not have kind of a purple should be accurate. Again, there could be one or two, maybe a few that slip through the cracks here and there, right? I don't want to say that's absolute, but it should be. That's the hope. So again, that's why we're just going to go off estimations today, and I'm going to show you just where all the kingdoms are placed for Zone 1s, and then what the top kingdom is there. So that way you guys just have an idea on how some of the KvK groups are looking like. So for this one, SOS 428, we have estimated around 57 bill. Again, that's based on the numbers we have that we showed you with the disclaimers. We have 85 estimated 60 mil plus players and 5 100 mil plus players. Starting positions. So Fuyu is, again, if you're in a kingdom and you go to Brink of War and you click on the matchup screen or the matchup icon, Fuyu is the top region starting Zone 1, and that's over here. It's always going to be top right, and then it just goes clockwise, right? So if you scroll down from that visual aid from the Brink of War matchup, then that's how it looks. Kind of goes in a circle. So we'll start there. -NS BLZ are over here top right. Eastern Zone 1, which again, I wish it showed you the names here. 185, excuse me. We have TGV HS-D AVO. In the Southeastern, we have COTC DG and DFAM. Southwestern, Zone 1, BRC, FOD, exclamation point, and -RA-. Western, AO, SNK, EPR. Maybe I'll just do it to go faster so we don't have to say all the symbol names. Northwestern, we have NORA, KOA, and FT90. In the next group, this is SOS 427, estimated around 38 bill based on the numbers we have so far. We have 49 estimated 60 mil pluses and 5 100 mil plus estimated. Top right for Fuyu, we have NXSC, Pact, TBD, Eastern Zone 1, S2AK, PRE, Southeastern Zone 1, Beat, Southwestern Zone 1, TDG, DOU, Western Zone 1, MT, SCS, DWO, and 242 GTA. Or I should say, sorry, Northwestern GTA. Next group here, we have SOS 426. Northeastern, starting in Fuyu, is RVO. PP squiggly squiggly, DC, Eastern Zone 1, OOR, OOC, Southeastern Zone 1, DNM. There we go. CHTA, Southwestern Zone 1, BBO, Wind, Western IMG, Northwestern Horde, and Sin. Next group, SOS 425. Estimated around 64 bill, 245 60 mil plus estimated, along with 100 mil plus. We have Infuyu top right, OGC, MIB, Eastern Zone 1, HBX, AFK, Southeastern Zone 1, OPB, RP, Southwestern Zone 1, HP, PUTO, Western Zone 1, ONZ, JPLS, Northwestern Zone 1, CFN, NWS. SOS 424. Estimated around 43 bill, 173 60 mil plus, 15 100 mil plus. Fuyu top right, 262. That coincidentally is the name of their alliance as well. Eastern Zone 1 Go, Southeastern SIP, Southwestern SNICS, Northwestern GRZ, Western GRZ, Northwestern SHWA. Now, all the remaining groups are just going to be 6 kingdoms. This will go pretty quick, I think. SOS 423, estimated around 58 bill, 236 60 mil pluses, 27 100 mil pluses. Northeastern Infuyu. ASG, Eastern Zone 1 LOC, Southeastern VH, Southwestern IBO, Western HAM, Northwestern HTF. Next group, SOS 422, estimated around 45 bill. Northwestern, we have 256, 60 mil plus, and 21 100 mil plus. Northwestern and Fuyu starting, we have Riven or RVEN. Eastern 1UP, Southeastern ST, Southwestern Goa, Western GF, and top, or I should say Northwest ICE, baby. Okay. Then we got SOS 421, about 54 bill. We have 341, 60 mil pluses, and 43 100 mil pluses. Northeastern AMZ, Eastern PX, Southeastern DAU, Southwestern L2NV, Western BD20, and Northwestern LPG. Then let's get to SOS 4620. We estimated about 88 billion. Now we're getting a little bit stronger in the groups, probably some more familiar names. We have about 88 billion power, 453 60 mil pluses, 33 100 mil pluses, Northeastern 05DK, Eastern Block, Southeastern SN, Southwestern SG97, Western SPA, Northwestern AXT. Again, probably will be a group to look at. And I say that just because the stronger power ones, I think, are just coincidentally going to be a little bit more sought after, probably for spectating and viewing pleasures. SOS 46019, 58 bill, 401 60 mil plus, 69 100 mil plus. Here, Northwestern K95, Eastern Beck, Southeastern Elves, Southwestern Sura, Western Chubb, and Northwestern GD. Then we get to SOS 418. We have 76 estimated billion power, 574 60 mil plus, 56 100 mil plus. And then here we got Gen, G3N, Northeastern, Eastern SHPZ, Southeastern K211, Southwestern GPX, Western Seal, Northwestern IME. Then we get to SOS 417, 67 bill, 537 60 mil plus, 80 100 mil plus. In the Northeastern IFAP, Eastern ERA, Southeastern Noob, Southwestern Rod, Western BPT, Northwestern KM. Then we get to SOS 416, about 60 bill. We had 489 60 mil plus, 130 100 mil plus. Northeastern ASC, Eastern DYH, Southeastern MBH, Southwestern X, Western Kong, Northwestern UDF. Then we get to SOS 415. The powers are going to start increasing decently. 84 billion, again, estimated. 730, 60 mil plus, 139, 100 mil plus. And here we have Swiggly BB. We got IW, LAW, TG. Northeastern BB, Eastern IW, Southeastern Law, Southwestern TG, Western ANCS, and Northwestern EIA. Rebranded, I know, because EIS is in a different kingdom now. I think it's 176, right? And then we have SOS 14, about 81 bill, 712 60 mil plus, 278 100 mil plus. And here, Northeastern, we got Dawn and Fuyu, Eastern OAH, Southeastern NWE, Southwestern BXS, Western AC, and Northwestern LTS. Probably going to be another group to look at. SOS 313, 91 bill, 864, 60 mil plus, about 200, 100 mil plus. Northeastern, we have CMAR and Fuyu, Eastern DBB, Southeastern SW8D, Southwestern MFD, Western Laws. I think that's where Tiny and his group went, right? And then Northwestern UHA. Gotta remember to say this right. And then we got SOS 412, about 109 billion power, 951, 60 mil plus, 330, 100 mil plus. Northwestern HWG. Eastern, we got YY and OO, or squiggly eyes. Southeastern, 3-3, or upside down, sideways butt cheeks. Southwestern, Luno, aka Noir. Western T25IW. Okay. Northwestern IR. Then we get to SOS 411, about 115 bill here. And we have 732, 60 mil plus, 192, 100 mil plus. Probably it's more than that, give or take. Again, like I said, some of the numbers are estimated. Some of them will be off. Again, that's why I'm saying these are estimations and gave disclosures in the beginning. Northeastern ED for Fuyu. Then we have Eastern KOD, Southeastern BNR, Southwest KOV, Western Zoo, and then we have Northwestern SV, excuse me. And these ones that's why you see them listed here, right? Just, again, to be clear. And then second to the last group, again, I think these are going to be must-watch. I just have to say, right? Obviously, just because of some of the names. We got about 120 billion here. And this is 864, 100 mil, 60 mil plus, and 484, 100 mil. Okay, yeah, no, these actually, I think these are probably pretty accurate. Hopefully. Then we get Northeastern NTS, Eastern EIS, Southeastern WBB, Southwestern TFS, Western is SSG, Northwest A2G. Then we get the strongest group in this KvK pool, which is basically about 150 bill. I'm sure there'll be 150 bill and plus that by the time this starts. This is SOS 49. They're estimated almost 1,300, 60 mil plus, and 750, 100 mil plus. I mean, just talk about an absolute banger. And this very well could be the top 6 kingdoms. I have to wait until Fuzzy gives me the updated pool, and then I'll take a look, and I'll actually rank where the kingdoms are too as well within this pool. And maybe we'll rank it globally too as well. We'll see. But at least within the pool to kind of show you where everyone is. But Northwest starting in Fuyu's WAO, Eastern ROG, Southeastern RAC, Southwestern BDO, Western GG, and Northwest Echo. All right. So those are all the groups. That's where all the starting positions are. Now, some of the KvK groups have supposedly been finalized. I have reached out to everyone. So to all the groups, to kings or queens from at least a couple kingdoms in each group, and I've asked them if their matchups have been finalized yet. I believe I've got responses from quite a few people. I haven't opened them yet, at least as of recording, so I'm going to do that right after I finish this. We have a matchup predictions, but I need to wait till I get the updated scan to finish that. We did 2 of them, and we know, I think, at least 4 or 5 KvK group results that have been confirmed, but I'm going to wait until we either have the majority of them or all of them done, and then I will go ahead and do a video on that, and we'll compare the PvP stats as well. Now, to end, let me get to what is going to be, I hope, a fantastic point to be made here just about the KvK. Some of the challenges, and there's 2 things that I talked about in the live stream yesterday, is that at least two of the biggest challenges that face KvKs right now is that, one, the final zone is not the crescendo final boss battle for everyone that is in the KvK, as it should be. Meaning that the longest lasting fighting is happening in the final zone. Why is this? Well, it's because if you have an opportunity for up to everyone in the KvK to get there, compared to 2 kingdoms fighting in a zone 2, 2 to 4, 2 to 3 kingdoms fighting in a zone 3, you have up to everyone that can fight in a final zone. And the sad part is that, and you often hear me talk about this, right? During that season that I've highlighted many times between the War and TFS in that Bellerin Season 2, which was like an S2 plus, this was, way back for some of the youngsters, the OGs would know this. It was probably hands down the best, most gratifying season when it came, I'm sure, to the players there, but as a spectator, being able to watch every day for 2.5 to 3 weeks of just high volume PvP, and then the PvP still lasting in periodic stints throughout the remainder of the season, it was glorious. And there was other groups as well around that time. There was there was 2 or 3 other KvK groups around that same season that had long-lasting fighting zones. Not as long as the TFS and War one, but they were decent. I think they were probably around a week to 2 weeks, give or take. But that is what we need to get to. Now, obviously, the map design for the Bellerin map was different back then because you basically had a hard west and east side. You didn't have any fighting between west and east until the final zone, so they were able to build up to that. And I'm not saying that final zone needs to last that long, but final zone cannot be lasting 1 to 2 days because to me, that's just absolutely ridiculous. And that's what we have been seeing on an average basis from the past number of KvK seasons. We will see sometimes decent Zone 2 and decent Zone 3 fights, but typically those, more often than not, are becoming the norm and the expectation for what will be the longest lasting fights. And that just can't happen. Again, it's not happening in all KvK groups, but in the majority of them we've been seeing, it has been a consistent trend, sadly. So that's number one. And number two is, which kind of is a 1+, but I'll give it for 2, is that the dev team has been making gradual improvements based on player feedback from a number of KvKs ago to now, to where they've been improving the final zone. Some of you remember, let me just point out a couple things here. In the final zone, right, and let me just go in to one of these to give an example here so I can show you what I mean. Now, this is the most up-to-date final zone that we have, right? This is it. If you recall, final zones before did not have as many passes as they have now. They did not have as many spire openings and pathways as they do now to the dragon area. They did not have as much of an open field presence as they do now in the final zone, right? So that's an improvement. And then 4, they didn't have this inner circle before. So they have made at minimum 4 major improvements to the final zone ever since some of the early first FZs for KvKs were introduced, spanning back to Tamaris and the 1+s and going into Season 2, but really Tamaris, right? So we're talking Season 1, all the 1+s, and then eventually when they came back to Tamaris after the Bellerin S2 and pluses went through. So anytime they had a Tamaris map, they've done 4 major upgrades, essentially. This is all based on player feedback. The whole idea is people want to have a more exciting and enjoyable final zone. So it's like the COD team makes these improvements, but then they're not allowing for the KvK to culminate where the bulk of the fighting, the final boss, the crescendo fighting happens in the final zone. And I'm going to explain why this is, which gets into number 3. To me, number 3, and I'm going to consistently say this because it is ruining KvK groups. Not all of them, but a decent amount of them it has been ruining. And ruining in the sense of where we are being jebaited into feeling like it's like we hype the KvK up, but then we don't get the final zone fight that we want and we want to see. And I'm sure the players probably want to have. And that's all because of what has been the crux in KvKs, which is this Zone 2 pass. Sometimes it's been a Zone 3 pass. If you remember, that's no longer in here. So I guess that's probably the 5th major change that they've done. They used to have a cross Zone 3 pass that you could get into adjacent Zone 3s. Notice that's not here anymore. They've since introduced this level 4 pass that allows for someone to go into a Zone 2 and then go into the Zone 3. And What's funny is that this pass opens up before the final zone pass opens. So what has been happening in some KvK groups? Well, enemies go in and they fight it out at the level 4 pass going in to a zone 3. And then at times in some of these KvKs, they're able to invade and take over the zone 3. So now that kingdom's not able to make it to the final zone and they're effectively cut off and limited to possibly being zone 1 locked, right? Because if they don't have their zone 2 access and they get pushed out of their zone 3, then they're zone 1 locked before the final zone opens. Nobody wants to see that. Now, I'm okay with seeing that after the final zone opens. So to me, the way the passes should open is very simple. Zone 2 passes open, which is the level 2 pass. The level 3 passes open to get to the zone 3. And then level 5 passes open. If we're going off the current season, right, basically it should be zone 2, zone 3, final zone. Then, after that, I'd say give it a week. After a week, then you can open these cross zone 2 passes, aka the level 4 pass in season 3 Rise of the Dragon. I'm okay with that. And then if you want to open even the zone 1 passes, right? Like the last 3 days or whatever it is, right? I'm fine. But we need to do it where it's like a U-turn, right? Not where it's like, and then, and you're just cutting it off, right? Because that's how it feels. Sorry, my passion bubble has been exploding. The last thing I'm going to give you, and I'll probably make a separate video on this as well, but this is my idea for fixing some of the KvKs as well, because we know that starting positions has been so impactful and to a point where matchups take into consideration starting positions. So my idea is very simple. During the registration, so after the registration phase, so we have registration. After the registration phase, you allow for a team up phase. It's matchmaking and then the results phase. So the results meaning is that they show you the kingdoms that are in the KvK group, but no kingdom is placed in a starting zone. So it's registration, matchmaking results, or brink of war. And then you get to see the kingdoms that are in each of the groups. The next stage would be the team up phase. This would allow for everyone to do their Diplo and to form teams before kingdoms are placed on the map. And then, once matchups are decided, you get into kind of like this MOBA-style pick ban phase, where it's called a placement phase. And what happens is that, and maybe the system is set up where you have to have even teams. So you can't do like a 2v3 or a 2v4. You can't do a 1v6. It has to be even teams of 3. And again, maybe it doesn't matter. I'm just giving an example. It could still be 2v4, 1v6 if they want to do that, or 2v or whatever, right? But the point here is that once the matchups are decided, so you can do it simple where people can just like, everyone is a team captain and then the kingdoms can just join whoever they want. And then by the time the matchup phase ends, that's who it is. If you're not on a team, then you're solo, right? Again, you could do it like that too. But then you get into a pick phase, which is the placement phase. And how this works is one kingdom from each team gets to pick their starting position. Problem solved. There you go. Literally just add a couple steps and then it's Gucci. That to me would be so freaking exciting to see. And that's just one idea that I have. There's other ideas, but that to me seems like it addresses a lot of the pain points right now in KvK. Could this be the future of how KvKs play out? I absolutely think so. And I think it would give not only the players, but the spectators a much overall enjoyable experience. Again, is it too much of a stretch to say that I'm a genius? Possibly. We'll see. Gloating a bit. Why not? But I feel very strongly about it for the reasons I've provided. I'd love to know what you think. Do you see any of the challenges and problems that I've addressed? Do you think any of the solutions I've provided could be something that may work? Do you have another idea? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, along with which groups are you most excited to watch and any dark horse groups that you want to keep an eye on. That's it for us. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.